Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our In the Dugout Sports Engine edition. Tonight, we're going to be changing our format just a little bit. We're going to be having members of our service rep team and members of our staff here taking part to kind of walk you through different instructions on different aspects of how to do your rosters, create memberships, and all the different things that are associated with the Sports Engine platform. With that, you see the members of our service rep team here at headquarters, and wanted to note tonight that you are seeing a new person. Bernadette Marco joined us just a couple weeks ago. Bernadette is the new service rep for the New England and Southwest region. So for those of you who are from those regions, you are probably starting to communicate with Bernadette and getting different emails from her or sending her stuff. So this is her opportunity to be on in the dugout for the first time. With that, our other members of staff are here, and they're going to be taking different parts of the Sports Engine platform, piece by piece for you. And to lead us off here tonight, I'm going to ask Jessica Labella, who is our Southeast representative. She is going to be kind of leading the charge here and helping to navigate Sports Engine for our staff and for all of you. Her and the rest of the team here have been working on different presentations that we've wrapped together. And I think that this is going to be helpful for everybody to be able to navigate the existing help tools that Sports Engine offers and to kind of break down the different aspects that are needed in order to complete rosters for regular season and tournament play, as well as other aspects. So with that, Jessica, I want to turn it over to you and give you an opportunity to kind of get everybody started as we start tonight's In the Dugout.
Thanks, Rob. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to dive into tonight's show on the Sports Engine HQ. So we have 5 different topics that we wanted to discuss tonight. We think these are going to be the most helpful for any league that is looking for an overview of what they need to complete for the season, within their Sports Engine HQ. Just to give you an overview of the way it's going to be broken out, we're going to start with managing league admins. So how to add and remove league admins into your Sports Engine site. And then we're going to move into obtaining memberships. So as you may know, hopefully, if not, you will learn tonight that background checks for your coaches and volunteers all happen within a membership, which has to be obtained each year. Then we're going to move into tracking eligibility, how a league admin will track their eligibility year to year. Those 3 items all will happen within the members and directory portion, for the most part, of your Sports Engine site. I do want to note, if you do not know how to access your Sports Engine HQ, please email your service representative if you have their email. If you don't, feel free to email Babe Ruth HQ at baberuthleague.org with your name, your role, your league name, and the state that you're with. And just put a note that you need to access your Sports Engine site. So with that, we are going to start with Daniela, who's going to lead us into managing league admins. Daniela oversees the Ohio Valley region, as well as being the National Softball Commissioner.
Thanks, Jess. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Like Jess said, we'll be talking about league admins, adding and removing admins on your Sports Engine account. So to first, we'll start off here. Jess and Colleen here at our office, they've taken a lot of time to create help files for all of our volunteers, our coaches, our commissioners. So right off of the baberuthleague.org homepage under resources, the Need Help tab will be a great resource to find all help files related to Sports Engine on various topics, including the topics that we will be discussing this evening. So once you go into the Need Help files, for this portion, you're going to go under the Sports Engine HQ League Management Help file, and you'll click on that link where it says SEHQ Help file. You click on that. On the left-hand side here, you'll see a vast majority of topics that you can select. So tonight we'll be focusing on how to remove and add admins. Okay, and here will be a step-by-step on what I'll be explaining tonight. So you can pass this over to your coaches, to your leagues, so they have a step-by-step on how to access the admins. So the first thing here to add an admin to your Sports Engine account, if it's a new league president, if there's someone that needs access to your Sports Engine website, you'll click on the directory, which will then take you to your admins page. If you click admins on the top there, and to add a person, you'll just click on add person on the top right. And in here, you'll fill out their information. So their first and last name, their email, you'll want to grant them access, and it's full access. And it's the Babe Ruth League access. And then you'll select their role, if it's, you know, the president all the way down to someone who may be doing the schedule, or if it's a treasurer. So you'll select their role and click add. Now, once that individual is added, they will receive an email letting them know that they've been added to their Sports Engine account with a link that'll direct them directly to their Sports Engine website. And if you need to remove an admin, someone left the board, you know, whatever the reason may be, if you just select their name, the box next to their name on the left, and you click on remove, it'll remove them from the directory. And then if you ever need to add them again, you'll just go back to add that person. But this is how you would add and remove league admins from your Sports Engine account.
Thanks, Daniela. It's pretty
Thanks, Jen.
straightforward. Appreciate that. Also, just a quick note that if you happen to see an admin that says your region support, just know that that's us and we are able to assist you. With that, we're going to move into our next segment, which is obtaining memberships each year in Sports Engine, and that's going to be led by Olena, who oversees the Middle Atlantic region. Olena?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight, and I will be speaking to you about obtaining memberships each year in Sports Engine. Just to reiterate, you're going to be able to obtain the coach and volunteer memberships by logging into your HQ platform and obtain the memberships for each and every one of your coaches and volunteers. Here, you'll notice that there is, the top one is for general across the board, and those specific to Florida have their own membership. And a sidebar to that, they are just required to do a background check every year versus all the other states where it's every 2 years through Babe Ruth. And here is where the coaches and volunteers can be able to keep track of what their eligibility is and if they need to go in and do any type of requirements and be able to view that there. Just another quick reminder, all the memberships are free. It's just that the background and the abuse prevention training is $25.50 per person, and that expires every 2 seasons. To obtain the membership on behalf of your coaches, you would just go into the Sports Engine directory, put a check next to the name of that individual, and then go over to the right-hand side where the 3 dots are and click Buy Membership. And at that point, an email will be sent to from Sports Engine to the volunteer to complete any outstanding requirements that need to be done for the season. In here, once you do that, the membership volunteer will come up and you will be wind up purchasing this on behalf of the coach. Anybody new, the step here is how to obtain that on behalf of the coach, and you would just click choose the membership on behalf of the coach. And at that point, you would just review the order, and you'll be able to then select the public club assignment. And finally, at any point, a coach or volunteer would like to see where they stand for the season. If they're coming back or they're new, they can just use this link right here and sign in and be able to view that for the season.
Thank you, Elena. So just to recap that, there are 2 ways you can have a coach or volunteer obtain a membership. each year. One is if they're already in your directory, you would check off the box next to their name and get the membership on their behalf. If they are not in your directory, you can send them that public club assignment link. We do have step-by-step instructions on this. If at any time you need help with that, again, feel free to email your service rep or that Babe Ruth HQ email. So thank you, Elena. This user dashboard link is very helpful for any coach or volunteer who is already a member for this year. So moving on to our next segment, Colleen is going to be walking us through tracking eligibility each year. Colleen is one of our service reps and also does a lot of our graphic designs here. So Colleen, why don't you get us going on tracking eligibility?
Hi, everybody. How are you tonight? Thank you for spending your evening with us. One of the most important things that we have been doing here at Babe Ruth headquarters is background checks and abuse prevention training, and all of that can be tracked in the Sports Engine system. So I'm going to show you all of the different ways that you can do that. The first method is probably the easiest and the one that you're most familiar with. It's through the eligibility search. In your Sports Engine system, you would go to Members on the left and then choose Eligibility Search. In this window, you have a number of options. You can look through the list of all of the coaches and volunteers in your organization. You can do a search for an individual's name. You can filter by different membership types or eligibility status, or even by age ranges if you're looking to see if your players all have memberships or if only your coaches do. You can also export this report and you'll be emailed a link that you can use to download the data into an Excel spreadsheet. The second option is in your membership screen itself. So this is where you would have sent out that public club assignment link. In here, you'll see under the membership list that once you have at least one active member in any of those given memberships, an ellipsis will appear to the right. You can click on those three dots and choose which report that you want to see. The most useful one, in my opinion, is usually the View Active Eligibility, because that will show you all of your coaches. But if you are looking specifically for only the coaches that are ineligible, you can choose that report as well. Once you've chosen which subsection of your membership you wanted to see, you can dive into that report, and again, you can sort by any of those columns. You can do a filter based on when their membership date was, whether they're eligible, ineligible, etc. One of the very helpful tools in here is the ability to send reminders. So you can put checks in the boxes next to any coaches that are marked ineligible. Click on that send reminders button and it will send a system email to all of them, letting them know exactly what eligibility pieces that they need to complete. Method 3 is a new function that Sports Engine has implemented this year. It's the credential search. So this is mainly used for showing you your volunteers that have either completed the background screening or the abuse prevention training. This can be useful because it will also show you the members from last year. So when you pull up, say, the background screening, it's going to show you everyone in there. If you notice that an individual you're looking for is not showing, then you're going to want to click on that filter button in the upper right and choose clear all filters, and then the members should show. This report will show you what date either the background check or the abuse prevention training was completed, so that you'll have an idea for who will need to complete it again this year. Your last option is within the roster. You shouldn't get here, but if you do have this ability within the roster system to check the coach or volunteer status. When you go into your season management and teams, you look at your roster list there. If you notice one says needs attention, you would just click on the roster name, and that is going to pull up a copy of the roster itself. When you're looking under the Babe Ruth roster portion of it, it's going to give you a list of what is missing for that roster to be considered done. You'll notice on here it's saying that the minimum number of staff isn't met because the head coach that's listed on there is incomplete. So if you click on the coach's name, it will show you everything that they're missing, and you can send reminders from here. The other thing that you can do as well, you might notice that that coach is also missing a membership. So you have the ability to send that to purchase a membership on their behalf on this screen as well.
Thanks so much, Colleen. As you can see, there's a lot of different ways where you can track the eligibility. And like Colleen said, hopefully it doesn't take you getting to the roster to figure out that your coaches are ineligible. It becomes more stressful when you're at the 11th hour trying to print your rosters and just realizing that they haven't completed the background checks, which do take up to 7 days at times to come back as passed. So it's really important to get the memberships and background checks done. Now, if you haven't begun that, it is the best time so that it doesn't turn into you having a crisis when you really need to print those rosters. So with that, we're going to go into our next portion. And now we're moving into the season management section of the Sports Engine HQ. And we're going to start with creating teams and uploading the template for your rosters. And Marge is going to walk us through this segment. And Marge oversees 3 regions in the country: the Midwest, Plains, Pacific Northwest, and Pacific Southwest.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so before we get started, I just wanted to give you a little heads up on what you're going to want to do. You want to make sure first that you have completed your CSV file before you start these steps. So I'll talk a little bit more about what's required on that template when we get a couple slides down. First, you're going to go to your Sports Engine HQ site and you're going to select competition. And then from the drop down, you'll select season management. Once you do that, on the right-hand side, you'll see the blue area that says add season, and you'll want to click on that. The next step will be to add your season name, the sport, whether it's baseball or softball, your start date, your end date, your time zone, and then you'll click on add season. On the right-hand side under connected season, you'll click on connect to a season. Under the connected season, you'll drop down to season and select either 2024 softball season or 2024 baseball season from the drop down, and then connect season. Next, you'll click on the divisions tab. On the right-hand side, you'll click on add divisions. And that's where you would add your majors, your minors, your rookies, whatever divisions you have, and then click on create. Next, you'll click on the teams tab, and then on the right-hand side, you'll click on add teams, and then select import teams. Now, this is the part that I was talking about in the beginning. You're going to want to make sure that you have your CSV file in order at this point. And you'll see the oblong box where it says download the template should you need the CSV file. The important thing to remember is that you need to make sure that columns A through P are filled out, with the exception of columns D, F, and L. Those columns are not mandatory. Then you'll click on Add File. Then you'll locate the file on your computer and click on the file name, and then click on Open. Once you select your file, the file name will appear underneath Add File, and then you'll click on Next in order to upload your file. The next screen will match your columns, and then you would click on Next. If there are any errors at this point, they'll show up on this screen. They'll be in red and they'll indicate where the errors are so that you can make the corrections. On the review screen, you'll click on Import. Then your teams will be ready to be submitted.
Thanks so much, Marge. As you can see, there's a lot of little steps, but Marge was so articulate in how she went through that. It is can be intimidating when you're first starting, but having a step-by-step instruction and this recording to go back to, I'm sure will be very helpful. So next, we're going to move into the next portion on actually submitting your rosters to Babe Ruth within your Sports Engine HQ, and I'm going to walk us through that. So once leaving off where Marge left, once your team is under the Teams tab, you're going to select the checkbox next to the team name. One thing to note is that we recommend you only submit up to 5 teams at a time, just because it is a lot of data. And it's just something that we recommend. So you would only check off up to 5 of your team names. And then you would click on the ellipsis, which is the 3 horizontal dots. You'll learn that word with us because we end up using it a lot because of the way the Sports Engine site is set up. So at that point, you would select Submit Rosters to Babe Ruth League from the dropdown. Next, you will need to select the age division. The important thing to remember here is for the team that you are submitting to Babe Ruth, you want to make sure that that age division matches with what you chartered. So in this case, this team is a softball 16 and under team. So that's the division we selected. And then you would click next. Next, and it's very important that you get memberships. This is a required step in order for the players to show up on the roster. So at this point, you would need to select Get Memberships. And another thing to remember, anytime we mention the word buy membership, that there's no cost. This action is completely free. Like Elena had mentioned, the only time there is a cost is when there is a background check fee for $25.50. So just ignore the word buy and just know that that will be free. So next you'll click on Review Order. At this point, any players who had missing information from the template that Marge had mentioned, you'll need to add that information here. Because Babe Ruth does require date of births, addresses, phone numbers, emails, etc. All that information, if it was not added in that template, it's going to prompt you here and you will have to add it manually. So we really recommend that you don't omit any of those fields from that template so that you don't get held up at this point. But if you do, it's fine. You would just need to add it manually. So at this point, you would click on Add Information. Next, your roster is going to show whether it's done or needs attention. And Colleen did explain a lot about the needs attention note. So I'll just go over it briefly. But the errors in this particular team show the team fee wasn't paid. So again, that's something that coincides with your charter fee. And also the minimum number of staff. So you have to make sure you have a head coach on each roster. Not only do you have to have a head coach, but they also have to be eligible. Otherwise, it's going to say needs attention. The next step to print your roster. At this point, you're going to check the box and then the ellipsis, the 3 horizontal dots, and select Print Babe Ruth League Roster. And so this is your roster. It will show all the eligible players, ones who have memberships, all the eligible coaches who have memberships and have passed their background check. And this is what you will be able to sign and hold on to. Again, it's very important that you make sure that they're all showing as eligible and on the roster. And that's it for our presentation on the step-by-step for memberships and season management. Again, we tried to move through these as quickly as possible, but we do have step-by-step instructions. We do have the Need Help resource that Daniela mentioned. And we do have that Babe Ruth HQ at baberuthleague.org email for questions. If you do email us there, just please be sure to include your league name and state so that we can better assist you. But now we're going to move into the Q&A portion.
Great job, Jess, and everybody. I think that this was really helpful, and I think that it breaks down all the different parts that the leagues are going to be dealing with in order to navigate Sports Engine. We certainly know that Sports Engine had its challenges in the 2023 season, but we can confidently say that Sports Engine has worked with the members of our staff here at headquarters to really try to represent the leagues and what the leagues were coming back with last year, and to deliver a product that was going to be much more user-friendly and have more complete tools. And while it is improved, it's still going to be new for a lot of people, and that alone can still be a challenge for many. We do have some questions that are coming in, and Jess, I'm going to lean to you, and then if anybody else wanted to hop in on something, we'll certainly knock them out. The first question that we have here is that are rosters required for both regular season and the tournament trail? Can you do one or not the other, or do you not have to do them at all? Marge, you want to take that one since you're the next one below on my screen here?
Sure, absolutely. You need to submit both your regular season and, I'm sorry, just making sure you're paying attention, both the regular season and the tournament rosters, because that's where the players' names are pulled from the regular season rosters. It is a rule in our rule book that they do need to submit both regular season and tournament rosters. And it's especially important if the league takes our insurance through K&K Insurance. God forbid there's a claim. The insurance company is going to reach out to us. We need to verify that the player's on the roster. We don't want to create any unnecessary hardship for the players and or their families. So yes, you cannot just submit one regular season roster just to replicate it for tournament time. If you charter 5 teams, you need to submit 5 regular season teams rosters and also do any tournament trail teams.
Okay. So just to emphasize there, you can start on your rosters, but you will get stopped at the time of submitting if your roster count for both regular season and tournament are not lining up with one another. So, so you don't have to wait, but you got to make sure that everything is paid before they're actually submitted and 100% complete, because the rosters are marked submitted once everything is paid and all the team members, managers, coaches, players have complied with all the other rules. So thanks, Marge. Danielle, I'm going to go over to you on this one. Let's see, what do I have here? Can the age of players be added to all the reports and rosters? Date of birth is nice, but the actual age would be helpful. What have you come across with that in your experiences with working with the rosters?
It is the date of birth that is shown. Jess or Colleen, I haven't seen anything different. Have you come across an age being shown?
No, right now the reports only show the date of birth. It is something that we can bring up to Sports Engine for sure, but as of right now, it's only going to show that. Maybe we can work with you though, William, to try to figure out a formula to figure out the date of the player's age. We can help you out with that maybe, but it's not on the Sports Engine reports. Sorry.
I just wanted to, real quick, Chris had a question that you kind of touched on, but I just wanted to piggyback off of what you said. His question was, do all of the teams have been purchased prior to uploading the rosters, or can we upload then purchase the teams and apply them post upload? And so you kind of touched on that when you were answering Marge's following up with Marge's question, but I just wanted to add, we do recommend, you purchasing and chartering prior to uploading your rosters. It is possible that you upload your rosters prior and get started on them. But ultimately you will end up having to resubmit them to make sure that that team fee paid is showing as paid. Otherwise, it will not coincide with your charter fee. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Okay. And I think that one of the things that all of us would emphasize if given the opportunity here is for the leagues to understand that the most important thing is to try to not to wait. We all tend to want to wait till the last minute when it's time for our commissioners to do credential meetings and to get ready for the tournament trail, to get the rosters submitted. But you really want to get in there at the start of the regular season, start getting your rosters going, so that this way, if as the staff here covered, if you're missing memberships for certain players or for certain coaches and they're missing background checks and abuse prevention training, you're not in this mad rush to turn around and try to complete things, because in the cases of background checks can take 5-7 business days on average anymore in order to get completed. So it's not something that can turn over as quickly as maybe the previous background checks that were not as thorough as the ones that are being run today. So the more that you can get done in April and early May will help, really save you that time and effort and really the stress that comes with waiting until the last minute, as your commissioners then are basically saying, hey, in order for you to get your letter of eligibility, this stuff needs to be done. So we want to make sure that all of our leagues understand that, while Sports Engine has a lot of tools, they have a lot of help files and videos, we have also established them here for our office and our staff. If you are having problems with getting a hold of somebody from Sports Engine, either through the chat features or you're attempting to try to make a phone call, that's why we're here at headquarters. You can see the staff that's, here on your screen. They are here to help you to get through this. You're not alone in this process. Our offices are open, 9 to 5 Eastern time. And I can assure you that if you call in or write in the email address that we put in the chat, that we are going to get with you and help you through that. But our best advice is, just don't wait till the last minute, because that's the mad rush that everybody tries to put on. And that just creates a lot of stress for everybody. Don Clark, who is one of our long commissioners from New Hampshire, also in the Q&A, wanted me to highlight the fact that the rule book does emphasize in the rules that rosters are supposed to be completed by the first regular season game, and Don is correct in that. I will say that before I worked for Babe Ruth and I was a league president, I sadly was getting my rosters done on paper probably 3 weeks before my credentials meeting. So I maybe didn't wait till the last minute, but I certainly did not follow Don's advice on the rule book even back then. But the earlier you can get it done, the better. Learn from my examples from back in the day for sure. Okay, with that, that wraps up a lot of the questions that have come in. There certainly could be others. You're welcome to email us, contact us at headquarters throughout the day. We will be back here tomorrow. And I just want to thank all the members of the staff, Olena, Marge, Bernadette, Colleen, Daniela, and of course, Jessica, who have worked together to put this presentation and really lead this. I can tell you that all of them have worked really hard with Sports Engine to really make improvements on behalf of the local leagues and our commissioners. And I sincerely hope that that all of the leagues begin to see some of the fruit of their labor as you're working with Sports Engine this year compared to last year. And with that, that's everything from Babe Ruth headquarters here tonight. We want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We are recording it tonight. We will edit it up a little bit, and we will be sending it out via email and have this available both on the website and via email sometime early next week. So with that, Rob Connor signing off from Babe Ruth headquarters. And again, thank you for being part of our webinar tonight.